Donna Wilkes thought she was restoring order. Kyle Archer thought he was just helping out his aunt. But together they built a parking lot scam so convincing it fooled. Dozens of people sparked a viral video and ended with both of them in handcuffs. It was just past noon on a sweltering Saturday in Lakeland, Florida, when the Walmart parking lot reached peak chaos. Shoppers in SUVs, sedans, and pickups circled endlessly for spots close to the entrance. At 47, she was known to many around the neighborhood as meticulous, intense, and more than a little particular about rules. Donna had pulled into the parking lot in her silver Honda Pilot, slowly rolling past rows of cars. Her eyes scanning for violations, cars crooked in their spaces, shopping carts left unattended, and people ignoring directional arrows painted on the asphalt. A crowd began to form, drawn by the scene unfolding in broad daylight. It listed the supposed violation, a code number, and instructions to pay the fine online. The couple looked stunned, glancing at the ticket and then at the woman now striding back to her vehicle. Everything about it, from the fonts to the QR code, mimicked a real city-issued ticket. A video from the scene was uploaded to social media within the hour. As the caption read, "Florida Karen issues a fake ticket at Walmart," and it certainly wouldn't be her last. But this time, she'd drawn too much attention. This time, people were watching. Donna scribbled furiously on what looked like an official ticket form, then slapped the paper onto the couple's windshield with theatrical precision. Many had paid the fines through a website listed at the bottom of the notice. It all seemed so real. The payment portal appeared secure. The wording sounded authentic. But now, under the microscope of public attention, doubts were growing. And so were the number of victims. But as the video continued to gain traction, viewers began to share eerily similar stories. But then someone brought in one of the fake tickets. Officers compared it with official city citations and immediately noticed discrepancies. The violation codes didn't match real ones. The website wasn't listed on any city documentation, and the badge number printed on the paper didn't exist. A man from Bartow, a neighboring town, commented that he had received a nearly identical ticket on his windshield outside a shopping plaza 2 months earlier. Each fake fine paid was money stolen from an unsuspecting person. The fact that it had happened multiple times across different locations indicated something more organized. Donna wasn't just acting out of anger in a single moment. She had a system, a method. He had paid the fine, assuming it was legitimate. A young mother from Plant City recalled being scolded in a parking lot by a woman matching Donna's description. That woman had taken pictures of her license plate, warned her about a fine for parking too close to the curb, and later left a folded piece of paper tucked under her wiper blade. Within 24 hours, it had racked up thousands of views, shares, and comments. People were shocked, amused, and outraged all at once. Some called Donna a vigilante. Others labeled her dangerous. Memes popped up overnight, dubbing her parking lot patrol Karen. But behind the online jokes, something more serious was starting to take shape. She wore a bright orange utility vest and had a laminated badge clipped to her waist, though it had no official markings. Her clipboard was covered with documents that, at a glance, looked like some sort of municipal paperwork. She had taken care to make it all look convincing. She kept a mental checklist of these infractions, as if she were on patrol. Tempers flared in the heat. Horns honked. One wrong move, one aggressive turn, and a simple shopping trip could turn into a shouting match. She had been waiting for it, blinker on, idling just a few feet away. But a red Hyundai darted in before she could react. Inside the car was a young couple, clearly unaware, uninterested in the fact that Donna had been waiting. Among those hunting for a space was Donna Wilkes. Then she saw it. A vehicle pulling into what she believed was her parking spot. She hit the brakes hard, flung open her door, and marched straight toward the Hyundai, clipboard in hand. Donna's appearance alone was enough to cause confusion. By the time she reached the car, she was already riding. The piece of paper wasn't a real citation, but to the untrained eye, it looked just like one. Gasps and murmurs rippled through the growing group of onlookers. Some assumed Donna was a city employee. Others began recording the incident on their phones. What might have ended as a simple parking dispute quickly spiraled into something more serious. Within minutes, it was being shared across platforms. What no one knew yet was that this was Auntie Donna's first time pulling this stunt. The video from the Walmart parking lot spread like wildfire across social media. At first, many believed it was a one-time incident, an angry woman overreacting in the heat. More people stepped forward. The stories had similar details: a woman in a vest, a clipboard, a printed ticket with official-looking language. Local law enforcement started to receive calls. At first, they were skeptical. It wasn't just a prank anymore, it was fraud. Each fake fine paid was money stolen from an unsuspecting person. The fact that it had happened multiple times across different locations indicated something more organized. Security footage from various businesses showed the same vehicle, silver Honda, a pilot pulling into lots across Central Florida. In each case, Donna appeared at roughly the same times, on weekends and during high traffic hours. She wasn't just shopping. She was targeting. She chose lots where violations were common and surveillance was low. What they uncovered instead was a trove of evidence that painted a far more elaborate picture. Her garage had been converted into what one investigator described as a makeshift command center. It was registered to a private user under a hidden domain, masked through a third-party anonymizing service. In it, Donna had recorded license plate numbers, locations, and timestamps of dozens of vehicles. Notes were color-coded: green for paid, red for repeat offender, and yellow for warning issued. But more importantly, they had evidence that her actions were planned, repeated, and intentionally deceptive. Her costume, her website, her clipboard, it was all part of a carefully orchestrated illusion designed to make people believe she had real authority. Detectives were eager to understand what had driven an otherwise ordinary woman to build an elaborate scam from the ground up. What they found was a slow-burning pattern of obsession and rejection that had gone unnoticed for years. She became withdrawn at work, often complaining about how the city didn't take rules seriously anymore. So Donna took it upon herself to restore order, starting with the spaces she still frequented: parking lots. She created her own rules, her own system, and eventually her own punishment. She eventually left her job entirely and withdrew from most social contact. Neighbors noticed her behavior shifting. She began recording minor neighborhood infractions: trash bins left out too long, kids riding scooters on sidewalks, cars parked facing the wrong direction. She filed frequent complaints with the city, sometimes anonymously, other times openly. But her reports rarely led to action. She had kept digital folders of photographs, including images of cars parked over lines, shopping carts left in disabled spots, and people entering stores without returning carts to the corrals. She filed paperwork, issued permits, and occasionally interacted with code enforcement officers. According to former coworkers, she had always expressed admiration for those in uniform. She viewed code officers as the unsung heroes of the city, the last line of defense against disorder. She spoke about them with reverence, even envy. After a few years, she applied for a position in the city's code enforcement division. Her application was denied. Payments made on the site were routed directly to a PayPal account under the name Civic Watch Services. Each time, she visited different shopping centers, targeting areas with limited surveillance or poorly marked parking zones. She documented her outings like a true investigator, complete with dates, times, weather conditions, and notes about the attitude of the drivers she encountered. From there, the money was transferred into multiple personal accounts, including one registered to Donna. Authorities quickly realized this was not a one-woman rant spiraling out of control. It was a financially motivated scam with deliberate digital infrastructure behind it. There was a folding table with multiple clipboards, rolls of orange tape, and even a laminated sign that read "Civic Enforcement Volunteer," a title with no legal meaning whatsoever. The same clipboard, the same vest, the same deliberate walk. Donna wasn't just acting out of anger in a single moment. She had a system, a method. Detectives began connecting the dots. But the truth was far more calculated. She didn't just want to punish rule breakers. She wanted control. And for months, she had taken it one fake citation at a time until the lie grew too big to hide. Investigators now believed that what looked like an outburst was actually part of a calculated scheme. Donna had crafted a role for herself. A self-appointed enforcer of parking lot etiquette and used it to create a believable con. But her downfall had begun the moment someone decided to press record. The fake ticket at Walmart wasn't her first offense. It was just the first time the world had seen her do it. Fonts were nearly identical to the city's official ones. There were fake violation codes, mock badge numbers, and carefully worded threats of further action if the fine wasn't paid within 7 days. Some even included barcodes and QR codes, leading to a website that looked nearly identical to Lakeland's municipal payment portal. And the attention would soon bring her entire operation crumbling down. When detectives obtained a search warrant for Donna Wilkes' home, they expected to find a few incriminating documents, maybe the fake tickets, perhaps a printer. In a cabinet drawer, officers found dozens of printed citation forms, each carefully formatted to resemble a legitimate parking ticket. The site, however, was not run by the city. Her computer provided even more disturbing insight. Investigators found a spreadsheet titled Patrol Log. What stood out the most was the consistency. Donna had conducted patrols at least 3 times per week over an 8-month period. Investigators now had proof that she had collected over $12,000 through her fake fines. To the public, Donna may have seemed like just another angry woman with too much time on her hands. As the investigation deepened, attention turned to Donna's past. Donna Wilkes had once been a city employee not in law enforcement, but in the local records office. That rejection hit her harder than anyone realized. In her mind, the city had failed. People were getting away with too much. So Donna took it upon herself to restore order, starting with the spaces she still frequented: parking lots. She created her own rules, her own system, and eventually, her own punishment. What set Donna apart from most vigilantes was her methodical nature. She didn't yell or cause dramatic confrontations. Instead, she used authority as camouflage. The law wasn't something to follow anymore. It was something to mimic, bend, and manipulate. Her fake badge and vest weren't just props. They were symbols of the authority she believed she deserved, but was never given. In her home, police found binders full of city codes and parking ordinances from multiple counties. She had highlighted specific phrases and made handwritten notes in the margins. What was clear, however, was her unwavering belief in her own sense of justice. Her attorney argued that the tickets were never intended to be seen as legitimate fines, but were meant as community warnings. They claimed she never impersonated an officer, she simply took initiative where the city had failed. The website, they insisted, was a mistake, not a scam. Payments made through it were voluntary donations meant to raise awareness about poor parking habits. Donna was found guilty of fraud, impersonation of a public official, and theft by deception. People became more skeptical of anything that looked official. Even legitimate parking enforcement saw a spike in complaints. But in doing so, she crossed a line she could never uncross. Any resemblance to real persons or events is purely coincidental. The parking lot patrol Karen had gone from self-appointed guardian to convicted criminal and in the process reminded everyone just how easily trust can be manipulated. Kyle was convicted of conspiracy to commit fraud and cybercrime. Donna received a sentence of 4 years in prison with 2 years of supervised release. Kyle, considered a secondary participant, was sentenced to 18 months and a hefty fine. She didn't see herself as a criminal. She saw herself as the solution. During cross-examination, a cybersecurity expert mentioned that the fake payment website had been created using advanced scripting tools not typically associated with amateurs. When subpoenaed, he initially denied involvement. But faced with mounting digital evidence, including email exchanges with Donna, he admitted he had built the site. According to him, Donna had approached him months earlier, asking for help creating a fine payment portal to go along with her community initiative. He claimed he had no idea she planned to use it for fraud. However, bank records revealed Kyle received 50% of the earnings. This prompted prosecutors to dig deeper. Eventually, they discovered that the domain and payment setup had been created not by Donna, but by someone else, her estranged nephew, Kyle Archer. Jurors watched surveillance footage showing her placing tickets on windshields. They saw screenshots of the fake website, examined the spreadsheet where she tracked payments, and reviewed her personal notes detailing how to make citations look more official. Kyle had handled the technical side and profited from it. The conspiracy was broader than anyone had realized. The evidence was overwhelming. She had even corrected grammatical errors in official documents and filed them away as evidence of government incompetence. She dressed the part, used language that mimicked officials, and never acted in rage. In the minds of many, she was already guilty. The legal system demanded proof, and the prosecution came prepared. Her calm, controlled demeanor made her convincing. Victims didn't question the tickets because they looked real. Donna knew that. She counted on people trusting what they saw. The obsession with control wasn't limited to parking lots. Donna's world had become one of rules and violations, except she was the one in charge. Psychological evaluations later suggested Donna may have exhibited signs of obsessive-compulsive personality traits. But no formal diagnosis was made. But justice, real justice, was catching up. And this time, she couldn't write herself out of it. Donna Wilkes' trial became a spectacle. Local news stations covered it daily, and clips from the courtroom circulated online almost as quickly as the original parking lot video had. They presented everything: the fake tickets, the altered website, the bank records linking online payments to Donna's personal accounts. Donna's defense took a surprising angle. The jury was unconvinced, but what no one expected was the twist that came midway through the trial. Kyle was a 29-year-old freelance web developer with a history of financial instability. The case now had two key players. Donna had conceived the operation and played the role of enforcer. In the end, both were convicted. The story left a lasting impression on the community. For months after the verdict, Walmart installed additional security cameras and signage warning against fraudulent activity. Donna Wilkes had tried to enforce order in a world she felt was slipping into chaos. Florida Karen writes, "Fake ticket during Walmart parking spot fight is a fictional case." Subscribe for more real crime stories with stranger-than-fiction twists.